If you could summarize your opinion towards women?
I do think they are very important, but...
So I was on a JLP panel with this guy, and he knew he was going to be on with me in advance, okay? I don't know who pointed it out to me, but a fan found this guy posting online on some incel forum, and he was writing about like all these tactics he was going to use against me to own me on stage and shit. It was really fucking funny. Yeah, I was on a JLP panel.
Are you a nationalist?
I'm a nationalist, yeah.
How about you?
Hell no.
Girls, I will destroy you.
You don't deserve to get laid at all!
So we found those subjects in person, rented a space in Hollywood, and invited our audience and any strangers walking by to come inside and ask them anything.
Okay, I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
So you're an incel?
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Okay, and do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
How did this guy become like the incel spokesperson? Or at least he's been on Jubilee twice now. He was been on JLP twice or 3 times.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
Do you hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a female role model in your life?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily consider her a role model, but I do love her quite a bit.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that, you know, men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the you know, the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Since women of color, or just women in general, have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology. I'm a nationalist. I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand.
Literally nobody has ever read any, okay. Literally, people always say like the data. I've seen studies, I've seen the data. What they really mean to say is, I've read an article that references a study, or I've read a Twitter headline that references a study. Just say that, right? Like if I haven't seen the study, usually it's just like, oh, I read in a Slate article or a Vox article or something like that. Don't just be like, the data.
But I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay. What do you think it is about?
What's that? Well, like, what was it about? Wait, well, just say what it was about. You don't have to know the fucking study, but at least like talk about it.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay. What do you think?
I wonder if he said it was a study about it and then they edited it out. I don't think they would do that, would they? I think Jubilee usually tries to be like pretty fair to both sides. They don't try to like make one side look horrible.
Off the top of my head.
Okay. What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks, and that
promiscuity is bad because it leads to people increasing their standards. What? I don't understand the logic of I hate promiscuous women, but I don't like women rejecting me for sex. It's like they only hate the women that aren't giving them what they want. It's extremely narcissistic and toxic, yet they wonder why women don't like them. These boys need therapy for their flawed mindset. There's a quote that I read a long time ago. A slut is a woman that fucks everybody, and a bitch is a woman that fucks everybody except for you. there are really toxic mindsets relating to women that engage in casual sex, and there's a lot of like really stupid approaches to, like, when I date for real, I don't want a woman that's ever slept around. But then when you're in your like early 20s, you're like, why is it so hard for these women to fuck me? Like, that's probably one of the most pervasive attitudes that is the most cringe, I think, in contemporary Western society.
Typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly...
What, of all the cities to talk about in the world, LA, London, Auckland. Auckland is like, I think even if you include the suburbs, like is it like 1 million people, if that? What a weird city to point out. Oh, I'm sorry, almost 2 million, my bad. What a strange example to go to. He probably lives there? This guy? Does this guy sound like a Kiwi?
They probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people were more traditionalist.
Do you think that people that want a virgin chick is because they're insecure about their ability to please a woman? I've heard a lot of things, but like, this is where my fundamental disconnect with a lot of humans might inhibit my ability to perceive this, because I've heard a few things a lot, but some of them are unfathomable to me. The two that I hear are, one is that they want a woman that hasn't as much because they feel like she's less of a slut and more special to them. And then two is that if you're having sex with a woman, she's had sex with a lot of other people, all you can see is like her fucking other people and you're comparing yourself to the other people. That's like the two, both of those sound unimaginably fucking stupid to me. I don't know how true either of those are. I don't know. That I understand that like every human has like some level of jealousy, I guess, that naturally exists, but that just seems like being jealous of like partners from the past seems unreal to me. I don't know. Destiny, why, if your girl had better sex with an ex, wouldn't that make you feel bad? I mean, like, just first of all, why not just learn how to do good sex with your current partner? Wouldn't that be like your go-to? Like, when you say that to me, what you're basically saying is like, I'm a shitty lover in bed. I'm never gonna find a way to get any better at it. So I need to find somebody that hasn't experienced anybody else so that they don't realize how fucking garbage I am at like fucking somebody. Like what is that mindset? I'd rather play in traffic if I know a girl slept with another dude. I'm not a cuck. Wouldn't you be but like, even by that logic, since you're fucking the girl now, wouldn't you be making the other guy a cuck? How does that even make sense? Culture norm is about men owning and possessing women. When men find out women have been f***ed in the past, they don't own them anymore. Maybe. Why would a girl wait for you to get better at sex when there are plenty of better people out there? Because I don't think people usually choose partners. You want a real hot take? Very, very, very few people actually give a fuck about good sex. Almost, like, very rarely does anybody actually care that much. I would say less than 10% of the population even cares that much about it, okay? That is a true fact. Fight me on it, I don't give a fuck, but it is a true fact, okay? Most guys just want a girl to go guac guac on their dick a little bit, and then they'll fuck them until they bust in like 2 minutes. That's 95% of men out there. And most women just want a guy to like fucking tap their clit for 2 seconds and then fuck them and then bust, and that's it. 95% of people don't even give a fuck about good sex. So the idea that you're having trouble finding women because they're like so particular about having like really good sexual experiences, no, I don't buy that. Don't buy that at all. I just don't buy it. Don't buy it. I think that when people are selecting partners, they're doing it way, way, way more on other traits than is the sex good. The only difference is, or the only exception to that is if it's literally just like a hookup or whatever. Or in a long-term relationship, like that can become a deal breaker if the sex is like super incompatible. But like, yeah. Where do I find the clit, Destiny? Give the woman a vibrator and look where she puts it. You gotta trick them into it. It's actually insane the number of women I met who say they don't come from sex when it's super easy to make that. Yeah, or they just like, or they say they like don't care about it or whatever, which I think some legitimately don't, which is just weird to me. I don't know. breaks my mind. I don't.
There have been a few mass shootings in the past where these shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
Was there like a pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
It's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs.
God, I wish I could audit this dude's logs. We need to do like a Friday dating stream where you guys just send me shit, because I see logs sometimes. It's like, man, what are you doing? I'm so curious.
Really?
No, it sounds like I had another like metaphor, like death by 1,000 cuts. It's not like one pivotal moment, but it sounds like a bunch of things built up over time.
Yeah.
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves.
I feel like I've
someone
outpaced
that
him
they
intellectually.
someone that loves them and respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. They're an equal. You're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You don't have like too high standards, I suppose.
Something about being incel that, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay. Would you say that there's anything that other people can do to help guide or just support or anything?
The lonely person in your class or the lonely person in your workplace, maybe he's an incel and he's not letting you know, and he's just kind of afraid you want someone positive. Just be nice, say hi, try and make friends with him. You don't have to date him, you don't have to whatever, just, brighten up someone lonely's day, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, noted. Thank you.
But then when if you make friends with somebody, then they start to expect that you're gonna date them.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
That's why it's called incel. What do you mean?
Well, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. You want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
what's one thing you wish people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize how much effort I'm trying, I suppose. I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature, I suppose.
Okay.
You don't have to see the bad things in the world and then come out a bad person. You can just see the bad things in the world.
I feel like I've outpaced him intellectually.
Improve upon yourself because of them, I suppose.
So you do have hope.
Yeah, I have hope, yeah. I'm a very hopeful person, I suppose.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other,
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much.
I don't think these guys understand how true it is that when you stop looking for something, it comes to you. The more they desperately look, the less they're likely to find something good. I don't think it's more just if you stop looking, it'll come to you. I think you have to cultivate the conditions necessary to make this stuff kind of come to you, I think. Oh man, dude, we should do like a whole like guide to other people, like relationships and dating and shit. There's one piece of research that I wish I could do. Something that I would love to do. I would really like to find, because this is like the only piece of the puzzle that I don't have, is I would really like to find 5 single women that are like over 25 and find out why. That's what I would want to do. I can understand everything from the male point of view. I can understand all the inceldom and blah, 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 blah. But the one thing that I don't understand is if there are all these single guys that are so desperate and upset and blah, 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 there must be an equal number of single women, right? It's like, if you've got a society full of people that are, if you've got a society full of people and half of the men are, not half, but there's this huge chunk of men that are incels, there should be femcells out there as well, right? So I really wish, I really want to follow like 5 women, like these are their stories. Like, okay, how the fuck, why are you single? What's going on? That's what I would be really curious to run that experiment. I have like guesses for as to what's going on, but I would really like to see that, I guess. I'm pretty sure there are at least 2 femcells that use your Discord. Yeah, but I don't want like femcells, like the ones posting on female dating strategy. Like just like normal women. What are your guesses? Well, let's see, we can move all across the spectrum. So all the way on the red pill side, one guess is going to be, and this is something that I've seen firsthand, is that there are some women that have just unreasonably high standards where they're looking for somebody that's just like, it's just like, holy shit, like you need to be more like, what the fuck, more realistic. That is some part of it. Another part of it is that when you're older than 25, a lot of guys like maybe won't care anymore. I want to say that, but I don't know if that's true. Like, I feel like if you've got incel guys that are 25, 26, 27, if they matched with like a 30-year-old girl on Tinder or OkCupid, I don't think they'd be like, you're too old. I know that online people will meme about like, oh, like I only want 20-year-olds, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think that would happen in real life. I just can't, I'm not sure. And then another thing I think of is that maybe it's possible that women are more okay with just not being in relationships than men are, or maybe they express it differently. Maybe, which also seems hard to believe, but it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is 30 really the wall for women? No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of arbitrary. I know 30-year-old women that look really, 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 really good. So I don't think it's like, there's a lot of 30-year-old women that look really good. The idea that like you turn 30 and you're like some decrepit on whatever, I don't think that's true. Maybe like in the 80s or 90s or maybe a longer time ago, when the beauty standards are like hyper focused on, I don't know. I think 50% of them in that age range are like single mothers. That could be true. That would change things a lot as well. Because, I'm sorry, when I say 80s, what I meant is like in the 1980s, 1990s, maybe you were more like hyper fixated or hyper obsessed with like a girl who's 20 years old. It might be, I wonder what percentage of single women 30 and over are moms? Because if they're moms, then maybe they don't have to worry about dating as much because they like focus on their kid and everything. Maybe? Yeah, I'm not sure. But it's just weird because like I know like attractive women that are single, that are like 27, 28 and older. And I know that like if they open up any dating app, they've got like 1,000 matches in a week, easily. That's actually dramatically underestimating, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Am I out of touch if I think that some women just don't care about being in relationships at that age? Yeah, that might be the case. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'm not, yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I'm not sure. I would like to see that. Yeah. How big do you think is the population of people who are legitimately so ugly, so just not taking care of themselves, that no one would look past them and date them? That's probably really low. It's less than like 2 or 3%, right? It's probably really, really, really low. Pew Research. Apparently I've clicked this before. Yeah, so like this makes sense. This is what I would expect to see. Share of US adults who are single varies by demographic groups. Men, 31%, women, 31%. It can't be that like every woman is, yeah, but. Do you think that people give less and less of a fuck about being in relationships if they live in a big city? I don't know. I don't think hooking up for a lot of people is a replacement for being in a relationship. Most older single women are not looking to date. I wonder why. Wait, but this is older. This is like 50 plus. Percent of single adults in each group saying they are blank for a commitment. Okay, so ages 18 to 39, 33% of men are not looking, 39% of women aren't. age 40 plus, 71% of women aren't, 42% of men aren't. How many of these single women are having sex versus the single men? People always focus on the sex thing, but I don't think that's the most important thing. I think most people want to be in relationships, not just be like hooking up with people. About half of daters are open to either a relationship or casual dates. Would you say there's as many female incels as male? Doesn't seem like it, or if they are, they're not as visible on the internet. But that might just be because women are less visible on the internet, period. I think it's due to the fact that female friendships provide more emotionally fulfilling relationships compared to male ones, at least. It sounds like the term incel changes for women to people who can't get laid, to women who can't find relationships. Well, yeah, because I think if you're a woman and you're not getting laid, it's because you're choosing to, generally. But finding a relationship is different, right? That's a different set of qualifiers that you're looking for. What were the comments on that video? Shit, true. This guy looks like he'd play that annoying best friend in a 2010 comedy. So he's trying to say he looks like Jonah Hill. Good one. You can tell the dude thinks he's the smartest person ever. Damn, I didn't get that vibe at all. And I don't like this guy. This guy is kind of crazy, but I don't think he gave that vibe off at all. Notice how he never considers that maybe it has to do with his personality. He just talks about losing weight and getting a job because he thinks it's all women care about. Maybe. He has such high standards for women. Does he? But he gets mad when women have standards. The misogyny and sexism is kind of weird. Although, to be fair, if he went into religious communities, you might find some women that are... If you want to know how easy it is for them to get laid, go on Grindr and see. Oh, if you're any like moderate looking guy, you can get tons of people on Grindr. You can fuck literally in a single night. Grindr is a totally different experience than Tinder. Oh my god. But then you also have to be bisexual or gay, so.
Yeah. No, you have to sleep with me. Love me. You have to.
I've never been in relationship. I just get off to erotica. Why bother other humans, you know?
Okay.